Okay, so as you guys can see, there's a home screen for the MLS. As most of you guys know, you guys can drag and drop any of these boxes here. So whatever you guys are seeing on my screen, it is very differently than what you guys might see on your screen, right? I don't know what level of agents I have on the chat right now. So I'm gonna start from very, not basic, but from, you know, not as, I guess you can say basic from the very beginning, and then we'll take it as far as I can take it in the level of what I'll show you. So first things first that I like to show is that I would want you guys to, at some point, go into my matrix and go into my information. And I want you guys to make sure that all the information you guys are seeing on the screen right here is correct. I also want you guys to go through your headers and your footers. Everything that you guys see is extremely customizable, and you guys should be able to go ahead, go in and change it around to make it more yours. Your CMA cover sheets. If you guys are gonna do a CMA, this is what your cover sheet will look like. Please make sure you guys go in, change all your information and so forth. Same thing with your email signatures. Any emails that you send out directly from the MLS will have your signature. So please go ahead and have one done and created in there. The reason for this is you do wanna look branded. You wanna look as professional as possible. I am one of the first persons that will tell a realtor at all times, you should be on Google, you should be registered on Yelp, you should be, you know, registered Zillow, Truly, and Realtor.com. So same thing with your signature. Everything should be very branded. You should look as professional as possible. Okay, so if a lot of your emails are coming out straight from your MLS to your clients with your links, please have your email signature set up. Your agent web page. So 99%, I've never seen what the website looks like, I won't lie. But through the board, for being a member of the board, you do get a website. And if you wanna go ahead to enable it, you can enable it here or you can disable it. It allows you to give it kind of like a name, or if you go at the bottom, if you're paying for a domain, you can add your domain here, okay? And last but not least, I literally show you this all these tabs just to get to your portal profile. So every time you send out an email straight from the MLS, your client receives a link, right? And then that link takes your client straight into your portal. So any emails that you guys have actually sent out, whether it's an auto email or whether it's a regular email sent out from a search that you have created, will take your clients directly to your portal, and this is what your clients are seeing. So make sure that all of your information is entirely correct, right? Today, I am showing you Luis Maqueda, who is my broker, and that's the reason why you're seeing his information, okay? But that is, to me, one of the most important buttons in all of the MLSs that you guys should go ahead and be checking that everything's correct, your portal. So make sure that all of this is filled out, okay? Now, let's go straight to what we came for. We're gonna go straight to your search, right? We all know that your RE1s, RE2s are the sales of single families and condos. RINs are your residential incomes. That's where you might be able to find your duplexes, your triplex, your fourplex. RODs are your lands, boats. RNTs are your residential rentals, and so forth. The one that I like to show you, I wasn't gonna read all of these for you, is your cross property. I don't know how many of you guys know what cross property search means, right? It means that I will be able to see all of your sales and all of the rentals. So if you're working with an investor that tells you how much is a property that I can buy and then how much can I rent it for, you would be doing a search straight from cross property. This way, you don't have to go back and forth between your RE1s and RE2s and your RNTs. You'll go straight to cross property and it will show you both. It will show you your sales and your rentals straight from one button. Okay, any questions so far? Are we good?
Yes.
Thank you for the thumb up. I need it so that I know I'm getting engagement here, right? For the sake of this one training, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go, I'm here already on cross property. You guys can see it's more or less the same regular criteria, right? So if your client was looking for a property that is $200,000, I would enter 200. It already has the 3 zeros here. MLS will only show me properties that are 200,000. It won't show me 199. It won't show me 201. It will only show me 200. So if you have a client that says, I need a property that's 200,000 or less, you would do 200 or minus, right? 200 and up, 200 and plus. If it says between 200 and 500, 200 dash 500. This way you'll see all the properties are between 200 and 500. Okay, if you have a very, very finicky client that only wants to buy, let's say even numbers, you would do 200, 400, 600, separated by commas. Let's say you have a client that went on Zillow. First of all, shoot your face. He went to Zillow, but then he starts giving you a whole bunch of MLS numbers. So instead of having to go back and forth, trying to research every single one of those MLS numbers, you would come here and you'd go A12345, comma, A12343, comma. So you would separate those by commas and you wouldn't have to go back and forth and searching every single one of those MLS numbers. Total number of bedrooms, 2 minus, 2 plus, between 2 and 4 bedrooms. Okay, this kind of works for this entire part here. So same thing with full baths, same thing with half baths, garage spaces. They want at least 2 garage spaces. They want between 2 and 4 garage spaces. Same thing with parking, total square feet between 1,000 to 1,800. So everything that you write in here is pretty much the same, right? If they if they're very finicky and only like even numbers, 2,000 square feet, comma, 4,000 square feet, comma, and so forth. Same thing with year built. So far, so good, right? All right, let's say you're working with a client who wants a certain line in a building. Let's say they like that O1 line because it's that sexy corner unit in every single floor. So what you do here is you do asterisk 01. This will show you every single unit that ends with O1 in that building. Pretty much what the asterisk is telling you is show me everything that comes before this O1. Okay, now if you were to put 2 and then the asterisk, you're telling the system, show me everything that comes after the number 2. So let's say you want a client that wants in 201, 204, that's how you would look, for something in a certain floor. Okay, now remember,
Adriana,
yes.
Could you repeat that? So you're saying that anything before 01 would be corner units?
No, I'm not saying corner. I don't know what all the units, what all the lines are in Miami-Dade, right? But what I'm saying to you is, let's say your client wants a certain line in a building. For the sake of this training, they want, anything that ends in 01. So we would do asterisk 01. This is just to show you all the units that end in 01 in a building. I'm not saying that 01 line is the one that is the best corner, best views. I'm just saying I want to see everything that ends with 01.
Okay, thank you.
Make sense? I wish it would be that easy, that we would be able to go on the MLS and all the best views they're all the same number line, right? Obviously, if you're working with different addresses, I believe you can add up to 10 addresses in here. I always say, when we switched over from MLS Exchange onto MLS Matrix, I've always told the agents that less is definitely more, right? So when I look up any address, if you guys have been to my classes before, you guys know that I either work with Key Biscayne addresses or Brickell addresses because I was there for a very long time. But let's say that you guys were working with 251 Crandon. I know that this is a Key Biscayne address, right? And I know that it is Crandon Boulevard, but I would never write here Boulevard, BLVD, Street, Avenue, Lane. I do believe that less is more. So what happens is, let's say the listing agent wrote BLVD and you write out Boulevard. You will never see that listing. You'll miss out on it. Let's say that the listing agent didn't put north here in the street directions when he entered that listing, but he put it as part of the street name, right? You will never see that listing, ever. So one of the best advices that I can give everyone is, again, less is more. If I'm working in Brickell, 951 Brickell, I will never put Avenue, I won't put Bay, I won't put Drive. I will narrow it down once I have the results of my criteria. And the reason for that is, again, if they spelled it out or they abbreviated and I'm spelling it or not, I will never see that, that listing that I'm looking for. All right, so far so good, right? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I see the little thumb up and I'm like, all right, I'm good. All right, inactive. Let's say you
the
have
asterisk.
the what?
The one, I'm sorry, the one that you said before, the asterisk and the number, you said something with the number, then the asterisk. What does that one mean?
All right, basically what the asterisk signifies, it's kind of like, show me everything that comes before or after this. So if you put it before the number, you're telling it, show me everything that comes before the number 2. If you're gonna do the number and then the asterisk, you're telling the system, show me everything that comes after the number 2. Make sense?
Gotcha, thank you.
You're welcome. And this also works for remarks, guys. So if you're somebody that looks, if you look for certain keywords in remarks, you guys can actually use the asterisk there too. In this case, I have broker remarks here. So let's say you guys are looking up for, what would remarks? Bonus, you guys can actually do the asterisk on both sides. So you guys can actually see everything that comes before the word and everything that comes after the word. If you're looking for certain keywords in your remarks, this works for broker remarks, regular remarks, and anything that you guys can actually type to. All right, inactive. Let's say that you have a client that wants to see everything that came up active in the last 7 days. You guys can easily go like this, 0-7, right? Or you guys can actually pick dates and say, all right, I want to see everything that's occurred from here until today and actually give it dates, right? Calendar dates. This also works. I don't know if you guys can see here, but the dates here are separated with a dash. So if you want to see everything that came up active with the contract this month, so let's say 03/01/2022, I would separate with a dash, 03/31/2020. It will show you everything that went active with a contract during those dates. So far, so good, right? You can also actually find that you can do between 7 to 14 days or 15 days. All right, so that's pretty much how it works all the way around here. Your area numbers. A lot of people ask me what the area numbers are. In Miami-Dade County, the second set of numbers in your folio is your area number. Okay, and if you need an area map, you guys can also go into your help button, into where it says second to last area maps. You guys can go to Miami-Dade County and it will show you a map of all your area numbers. How do we look? I'm reading the questions. I would really appreciate you guys that you guys unmute instead of writing in the chat, because since I'm sharing my screen, it's really hard to open up the chat. But I got, how do we look just certain buildings? I would advise, if you're looking up just certain buildings, to use the address of those buildings. If you don't know the address of those buildings, google.com will help you. That is my best advice. And again, less is more. Is there a list of tips for the keyboard input searches? Explain your question, Jackie. Is there a list of the tips for the keyboard input searches? Yes, I actually have that. I can actually send it to you guys. I don't know if you guys are here from my chat groups or from my emails or from my email campaigns, but I can actually send out that list of all the tips for the keyboard inputs. And from Cami, important to adjust during this webinar or future one searches on portable devices such as iPhones, iPads. Okay, all right, Jackie, you're from the chat. I'm gonna send that to you. Now, if you guys can do me a favor, if you guys have any more questions, I would really prefer if you guys can just unmute yourselves really quick. And let me know what it is that your question is, right? So I don't miss out on what you guys are in need of at the moment. I do better with engagement as well.
Andreina, I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, how did you get to that area map again, please?
Sure, I went to the help button.
Okay.
Second to last.
Oh, okay.
And then you can click on which area you want to see. I'll stick with Miami-Dade County for today.
Okay.
And that's your area map.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right, I'm gonna go back into the search. And again, your folio the second set of numbers in your folio number for Miami-Dade County is your area number, okay? And I'm gonna break down the folio for you guys in a minute here. All right, for the sake of this training, I'm gonna use 951 Brickell and go into my results. Everything that's active. Oh, this view is awful. This is everything that's active. Give me 1 second. There you go. All right, this is everything that's active in 951 Brickell. Now remember that I did use cross property. So you see how I have some that are for sale and some that are for rent. You see that? I see all the rent and all the sales just by using cross property. I didn't have to go back and forth between RE1s, RE2s, and RNTs. I just went straight into cross property and it shows me both. Okay. Now, as you guys can see, I can get rid of columns, right? I can go in here and I can remove a column. I can add a column. These are all the columns that you guys can actually include in your columns here. Okay, and again, I can.
So Adriana, I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay.
So when I'm looking at this here, you said when you hit the cross properties, so that's why you're showing here properties that are for sale and for rent. So everything's combined here. Okay, great.
Yes,
awesome.
ma'am. I went into cross property quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing the search for you just really quick again.
Right.
And when I go into results, I don't know why this view, why he has that view, it's awful. But I go into here and you'll see that I have RE2s and RNTs.
Beautiful.
So I see both sales and rentals.
Super, thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. This is an amazing button to use. I feel like realtors are so afraid of pressing buttons on the MLS. I promise you that by pressing buttons, nothing is going to explode in your face, right? And the reason why I say that is because if you guys don't really know what it means, you guys just rather not touch it. Whereas when I started learning the MLS, I started touching all the buttons just to see what it all meant. And cross property for me is a button that is very useful, especially for those agents that work with investors or foreign buyers, right? That are going to be renting these units out after. This way you can tell your client, hey, if you buy this property, it is at this price and you can rent it for this. And there's not so much back and forth, right? So cross property for me has been an amazing tool throughout the years. And this was available also in the MLS Exchange. So it's not like something new that popped up that the board is giving us now. All right, let's say that I like 5, 9, 16, and 22, right? You guys, I don't want to see the rest of all 30 of these results. So I'm going to go ahead and click refine, and I'm going to go ahead and narrow it down. What this just did was get rid of all that other fluff that I didn't want to see and narrow down to the 4 that I'm looking at. Okay. Let's say that from here, I'm going to go ahead. Do you guys know what carts mean? Let's say you guys are shopping at Target, right? I have a lot of women in the room today. We're at Target and we're putting a whole bunch of things in our carts and we're walking around the store. It doesn't mean we're going to buy it yet, right? So you guys can actually add it to the cart, or all right, or you guys can do a new cart because I had 4 things already in there, right? Or you guys can do a new cart, give it a name, training. You guys don't have to put a contact, but if you guys want to create a contact that you guys are doing the search for, and then press save. This did not send it to any clients. This just gave it a name. So now let's say I leave the office or I leave my house, I go on a showing and I need to go back to my cart, right? I would click on home because now I'm back at home, and I would find that button that you guys have that's called my carts. And it's right here in your home page. The ones that I just added, I gave it the name training. It's right in here, okay? So you guys don't, and this didn't do a save on it. This didn't email it to your clients. This didn't do absolutely anything other than put it in your cart for you, okay? So far, so good.
What's the difference between a cart and a safe search?
It's not much different, I want to say. I would say that the safe search is something that you are continuously always looking up, right? Maybe it's for a client that's not ready to buy right now. Maybe they're going to buy in 3 months. So you guys are just doing a safe search of that criteria. Your cart, however, is not saving your criteria. Your cart is inputting in there the 4 listings that you've entered into the cart.
Okay, thank you, got it.
You're welcome. So it's like you're still saving it, right? Because it's going into your home page, but it's not saving the criteria for you to go in and look at all these other listings. It's only saving these 4 that you've added in.
Andreina.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we're looking just for the active properties because you just selected active at the criteria,
Correct.
right?
I only pressed active.
Okay, so if I would like to look for the rented or closed sales, I just have to select it at the criteria.
Absolutely,
right? Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go back to my search for you. Right, this was my hold on. I'll go into the criteria and I can do the rented and the closed sales. And same thing, I can add some that are closed and some that are rented for you. Narrow down some here. I can click on refine like I did. Now I see that I have closed, rented, active, rented, and then I can put it into my cards.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So it's pretty much the same thing. I go home, I go into my cards, and there's the 6 that I had added in. This view is awful. Sorry about that. But here you'll be able to see that I have some that are for sale, some that are rented, and some that are closed. Obviously, I'm still using cross properties so that I see both sales and rentals. All right, so far so good, right?
Andreina, one question.
Yes.
Okay, so I believe that as soon as those property get updated, we will see that, right?
Not in the cart.
No? Oh,
no.
Okay.
The cart is only putting in those 4 that you've added in.
Okay, okay.
Not your criteria. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So if it helps, for me, the card is the same thing that you write down in your notebook, the properties you selected. For example, it's your pocket of properties.
Yes.
Your own pocket.
Yes, exactly. That's why I give that example of like, you're going through Target, right? And then you're starting to get closer to that cashier and you're like, oh shit, I have monkeys, giraffes, I forgot the toilet paper, but I have all these other different things that I didn't intend to buy. So your cart is just to narrow down. It hasn't emailed anybody. It hasn't sent out any notifications of this new stuff that you've added in. This is just pretty much maybe properties you will see with your client. Make sense? So far, so good?
Sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can
All
you
right.
explain how to add columns?
Excuse me?
How do you add columns like on the criteria?
Sure. On the criteria or on your
No,
results?
no, on the result. Sorry.
All right. Do you see when the 4 arrows pop up there? On the gray area, you see how I have 4 arrows?
Give me 1 second. Yes.
All right. So when you see the 4 arrows, you click down and you can insert or remove a column.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. These are your 3 ways to save, right? You have your new saved searches. Very
Hello.
quick. You give it a name. Yes.
This is Maria. How are you?
Good.
I have a question about when I used to work on the MLS, like I don't know, like last year before it turned over, I was able to save a draft of exactly what rows I want, like
Yes.
price per square foot, sold price per square foot, the listing agent, the selling agent, the email address.
Yes.
And I can't figure out how to do that anymore.
All right. I'll take you right back to that. Okay. So let's say, let me do this quick save search and I'll go ahead and do that because that's actually very important. So a new save search, you'd give it a name. You can put it under a contact. This does not email anything to anybody. But when you go to my matrix, you can see all your saved searches. Okay. So far, so good, right? On how to save a search?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I've always been able to do it, and it feels like a stupid question to ask because we've always done it. But every time I do it from my MLX, it's not working. I'm very frustrated about
All right, so this is how it works. Let's say this is exactly how I want to see these columns all the time, right? You see this little button that you have right here?
Yes.
That's your wheel settings. The first link says, every time you come into the MLS for cross property only, I want to see this has my current display. So if you click on that link, every time you come into cross property, you would see this has your current display, right? Or the second button is to reset you to the system search default settings. Now, you guys also have this little notebook guy over here that looks like a notebook and a pencil on top. You guys can actually give this view a name. I'll call it training. Save us a copy, right? So what this did was that every time I come to view something, I can actually click on training, which is the name that I gave it, and it will show me this display view of my rows.
That seems very simple.
It is.
So, because, okay, so like when I go, I don't know how to explain it. I want to where do I add, how you go to add certain lines to this search?
Okay, so when you see the 4 arrows, I would click down, I would insert that column, right? Let's say I really care about, I don't know, give me one. Agent's license number, right? I would apply. It will now show me the agent's license numbers. I would click on my wheel settings. And that's it. So now when I go into my training one,
it has everything.
It has that listing agent's number.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so far so good, guys?
That was really good because that question that she asked is actually one that I had wanted to ask and I didn't know how to ask it. And I'm happy that she did because now the addition of the columns is going to be so important. I was going to ask you also where it says display and you have my training right here. I was trying to get my MLS to say the agent single line and it didn't give me too many views. So do I just go to the notebook, like you said, and then just type it in and it'll put it in automatically?
Yeah, well, what do you, hold on, ask the question again.
Okay, you see how
All right,
you,
so if I go to agent single view, right? This is
Right.
the agent single view.
right. But
Now
like,
you
for
wanted to
me,
add a new line to the agent single view, right?
right,
Yeah, so same thing. So let's say listing agent's name. Now I have the name. So I would come over here and I would give this a new name. I would call it training Zoom, right? Save as a copy.
mm-hmm.
And now it's part of my, you see, training is there with the listing numbers, with the listing agent's ID number. And if I went to the Zoom training, I would have the listing agent's name.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you so much, Adriana.
No, you're welcome. All right, so far so good, right, guys?
Wait, Andreina, I have one question. Hi.
Sure.
It's Daniela. So I saved a bunch of them. Like I did this, but I saved like 30 of them for some reason. Imagine like saying like training Zoom. How would I delete them off of
That's
here?
a great question because I've never deleted. So we might actually learn something together.
Andreina, yes, you should have to go to my matrix.
Yeah, I'm in my matrix now. Hold on. My matrix, and then in settings.
Yes. And then
custom displays.
Mhm.
There you go.
Okay, so my matrix settings and then custom display and just
Look,
okay.
these are the two that I just created. So you guys can delete them straight from here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
You're welcome.
Hit edit right there, you can see the other criteria that you selected. If you hit edit right where you were.
Edit?
Highlight training. No, go back. Highlight training.
Where are you? Highlight training.
The one you did, highlight it and then hit edit. And then there you could add, move to the left, to the right, and move them up and down if you wanted to modify it.
Very cool. Is this Andres?
Amazing. Thank you. That's the page I was looking for.
Yeah, this is how I set them up is right there.
Andres likes showing off that everything I teach, he can like ump it one more.
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm gonna have you banned from my trainings.
I'm going back to mute. Bye-bye. I'm going back to mute.
This is my little banter with Andres. I actually really do appreciate him joining in and doing his thing while we're here, because we are learning from somebody who might have more experience than us, right? I have to give him a hard time for it though. All right, so I'm going back into a search. What did I do here? And I'm just kind of like going back to what we've done. So I'm gonna go ahead and refine again. Narrow it down. And then from this narrow, I showed you guys how to do a new safe search. Now your new auto email. For auto emails, you do need a contact, right? So let's say it would be for this one particular individual. I would give it a subject name. And now notice how the first email you send out has a welcome email. You guys can change this, right? And then every time this client gets new results in an email, there's a recurring email that MLS has a default. I would totally change this and make it more your own. Give me 1 second. People are asking on the chat a few things. Oh, okay. Please, everybody mute your... Guys, if you can mute yourselves, unless you're speaking, I would really appreciate that, because everybody's hearing everybody's background noise. Thank you. Let's do something. All right. You guys have a button here that's called Enable Concierge Mode. I don't know if you guys know what concierge mode means, but basically what it does mean is that every time a new listing comes up with this criteria that you're auto sending to your clients pops up, instead of sending it automatically your clients, you guys would get a little notification here. You see how it says concierge alert, one auto email, one listing. This is so that you guys can approve or deny your client from receiving this. So what you would do would be show all. Come on. What do you have going on? And you guys can reject or approve the selected listings that your client would have if he wasn't in concierge mode. Did you guys understand that? Okay, are we good? So far, so good? All right,
Okay,
so this is
just
what-
one question. Okay, about this concierge thing. So we always get it before our client get it, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
So you guys would have to pay attention to this alert.
Oh, uh-huh.
If
Okay.
you have enabled concierge mode. If you don't enable concierge mode, you don't have to worry about it. But if you do have that picky client, or you have if your criteria is so little that you're gonna receive like 200 results, narrow it down for your client. Your client should not be doing your work, you know, unless they really do wanna see 200 results. But don't overwhelm your clients. You should be enabling concierge mode if it's a lot of stuff and narrowing it down for them.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, over here, you guys can also pick a schedule. Send that email ASAP, right? As soon as there's something new, send it to the client. Daily emails, and then you can pick what days of the week, and if you want them to receive it in the morning or in the afternoon. You guys know your clients better than the system. So if you're working with a nurse that works overnight and is probably checking their emails at that time, don't put them to receive it in the morning, because they're probably not gonna get it. They're probably gonna have an infiltration of emails by the time that they actually do get yours. So kind of like pick when they would be receiving it. Now, if you're working with that client that's really not ready to buy and you just want to send them things slowly, you guys can also pick to send on a monthly basis. Okay, so far so good?
Once saved, this auto email will go in immediately, or you have to send it afterwards?
No, it'll go in immediately. Once you save it all the way at the bottom, click save. Your client is going to receive this welcome to the portal email.
Okay, thank you.
So far so good, right?
Yes.
There's people writing. All right, give me 1 second, guys, because I keep hearing background noise. If you guys are not muted, please mute yourselves.
Somebody has like a radio.
Excuse me?
Somebody has like a radio in the back.
I know, I'm trying to find who's not muted. All right, I think I did it, right? I think I muted them.
Perfect.
All right, thanks.
Hi,
Yes.
can I ask something about locations? If someone asks me about Naples, can I do it
Yes.
through the MLS or I have to do something?
All right, so unless there's a property from Naples listed here in Miami, and you're doing a search here, it would be very hard for you to see it, right? But over here, you have a button that's called Search Other MLSs, and you should be able to find properties from Naples in here. And again, this is if the board of Naples shares their listings with us here in Miami-Dade.
Can you go back, Adriana? Sorry, I missed that.
Search other MLSs.
Oh, got you. Got it. Thank you.
I promise you guys, click the buttons. Like, don't be afraid to look through it. So you guys have this search other MLSs, and then from your gateway, which mine is actually closed right now, but from the gateway, you guys have a button that's called MLS Advantage. And that one also allows you to search other MLSs.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so far so good, right? Then the last way to save is your new speed bar shortcut. So basically you can give this a name, training, save, and you see how it's here on my speed bar? So if I was to go home and I would enter that name, my criteria would come right back up. And I can search my criteria and save it again. So far, so good when it comes to searches, right? All right. I normally go straight into hot sheets or straight into market reports. But before I do that, I want you guys to see something, how to break down your Miami-Dade folio. If any of you guys are following me using your own computers, please don't follow me right now. This is just to show you the breakdown. So I'm not entering a new listing. I'm not doing anything. I just want you guys to see the breakdown of the folio, right? So you guys see the folio here, right? That's your folio. So your municipal code 30 is the first set of numbers, 30. Your second set of numbers, 49, is your township, and it is also your area. Your section, yes?
Also, if you put the wrong area, you do get fined $500.
Yes, you do.
So
And $500 just the very, very beginning number.
exactly.
They can actually fine you up to $5,000 with a jury panel because it is manipulation of the system.
So did you say area and township are both the same?
The
number?
same.
Okay.
Isn't that beautiful?
Thank
Your
you.
third set of numbers is 4. Your subdivision is your fourth set of numbers, and your parcel number is your last set of numbers. What does this mean? Your parcel number right here is exactly where that property is. It's that property. It's that lot. Your subdivision is your complex. Your section is everything that's around your complex, and your township is obviously your area. Why is this a very cool thing to know? Because let's say you guys are searching for single family properties, right? Where is your folio? Give me 1 second. Folio number. I tell you guys asterisks, right? So I know that this one property that I grabbed is not for sale. But if I was to take out the parcel number, which is that actual property, and I give it an asterisk, I can see that inside the complex, there's one for sale.
Oh, nice.
Now let's say that I don't care about the complex, but my client wants something around in that area. I take off the complex, and now I see that there's 8 around the area, including the one in the complex.
Super.
Okay, and obviously I can bring it, all the way to the area number, and then it's like 500.
But you must pause, you must put it the star.
Yes, the asterisk is pretty much telling the system, show me everything that comes after these numbers.
Okay, if you don't put it the star, they don't show you nothing? Oh.
No.
Without the star?
Remember that matrix is very, it's very narrow-minded, right? So if you put just 3049 and there is no folio that has those exact numbers, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You're not telling the system right now, show me everything that comes after. It's just pretty much show me these numbers. Well, these numbers are not a folio number. It's going to show you 0 matches.
Okay, perfect.
So your asterisks are important.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to do that for you guys just one more time. It's one of my favorite things because this is, if you're working with a certain complex or a certain client that only wants to live in that one complex, right?
No,
one folio number from that neighborhood.
And normally the client, they want to live close to the...
Sí, ahorita estoy en un webinar, pero tranquilo que aquí estoy muted.
Guys, no, you're not muted. Whoever got that phone call, you're not muted. All right, so far so good, right? In this search?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So I really do like breaking that down for you guys. Somebody sent me an email yesterday
Excuse
that they
me.
didn't
I'm
understand.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Excuse me. Could you please say that part just one more time? I'm so sorry. I got lost in that explanation, the last explanation about the falling number. Just to get, is that for get the actual properties in the same condominium?
Not in the same building. This is more if you're doing a single family. It also works for condos because usually the unit numbers are the parcel numbers. But if I was gonna search, a building, I would just use the address of the building. But when you're dealing with single family homes, not all the homes have the same address, right? So if you look at the folio number here, the first set of numbers is the municipal code. The second set of numbers is your township, which is also your area number. Your section is the third set of numbers. Then comes your subdivision, and your parcel number is the last set of numbers. Your parcel numbers go home. Make sense?
Yes.
So when you are doing a search on the phone, I know that this one property is not for sale. So I get 0 matches. So when I take out that parcel number or the last set of numbers and I put an asterisk, you'll be able to see everything that is in that neighborhood for sale. Make
I
sense?
see. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now let's say that, they really don't like this one property that's for sale inside this one neighborhood. So you take off the neighborhood numbers and you'll see everything that surrounds it.
Andreina, how do we a quick search with the name of the school? Because I have a client that is just telling me, okay, I want to live in the neighborhood, I can go to X school.
All right, so here's the problem with that, right? You can either do a map search based on what Miami-Dade Schools tells you of the school that is in that area. Because what happens is, we can add the school, right? You can add all the 3 schools that pertain to this one area, right? And then when you go back, you have them here. The problem is that if the listing agent did not fill out the part of the school, you're not going to see it. And I want to say that 95% of agents don't fill out this section. So if they don't fill it out and you're asking to see that one school, you are not going to see that listing. Does that make sense? So if I were you,
yeah, because I have been doing it, but in a long way, because I just go to the map of the boundaries and I just try to do the same map of my search.
Yeah, I would go into Miami-Dade schools, Miami-Dade schools,
Dade schools.
yeah, Miami-Dade County Public Schools. And then in here, you should be able to see, find your neighborhood school and then do the map based on what this tells you. But to be honest with you, if you're gonna do it straight from Matrix and you're picking the schools from here, if the listing agent did not pick that school in their initial input, you're not going to see that listing. And for all the agents that are on here, there's 91 of you on, right? This is very important. I was supposed to have a seminar April 8th, and it was gonna be listing agent versus buyer's agent. I'm gonna have the buyer's agent let the listing agents know, listen, this is what we need from you in order to find your listings. Because a lot of the agents, I wanna say, were not properly taught that by inputting more information into that listing, it would get more views, or it would narrow down that search criteria for those buyer's agents. Unfortunately, they're only putting the required information that is needed, and then that buyer's agent, if they narrow down their search, that's why I say less is more, right? Because the more you narrow down that search, the less you're actually gonna see, which is unfortunate, because if you're clicking over here the schools that your client wants their child to go into, and that listing agent didn't put it, you're not gonna see it. So the buyer's agent job becomes a little bit harder. So far, so good, guys?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I do have one more little, I don't know if it's in here. All right, I want to clear this. And I want to add one more. All right, so I am adding number times lease per year, right? So what I'm asking the system is, if I was to buy this property, how many times a year can I lease it? And if you were to put 365, right? That would give you the results for that property you can buy to do daily rentals on. So if you have a client that's asking you for Airbnbs, how many times could it be leased per year? And you were to put 365 times, now you have just found the property that your client might be able to buy for Airbnb purposes. That was like the last little trick from the search.
I'm sorry. Adriana, could you do that again?
Wow. All right, so I went to additional fields, add or remove, and I added number times leased year, meaning if I was to buy this property, how many times per year can I lease it, right? And I went all the way to the bottom and I entered 365. This means if I buy this property, can I lease it for 365 times this year? Daily rentals.
Andreina, Caesar here. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. But that, again, it comes back, all of this.
Everything comes back to what the listing agents input, yes.
Right. So if it's not 365, then we cannot find it. Oh,
But I will this that number times leased per year is a required field. So they have to input something there.
Yeah, but most agents think that if it's one time a year, it's 365. That's what most agents think. That if the unit, the association allows to rent it once a year, they put 365. That's what I've been finding out. They don't know the difference.
Well, I'm glad we're all in here, right? At least 91 of you found out that if you ever have to do a listing, this is what it means.
Thank you.
I mean, everything that I've done for you guys, I don't know if you guys know much about who I am, but I've always had been management for big brokerages. And my number one thing was that agents were not giving enough knowledge or educated enough. And when I first started, MLS Exchange was changing into MLS Matrix. So I learned this program to the best of my ability just so I can show my agents in-house. And all of a sudden, I started getting questions from outside agents, and it kind of became a ball that snowballed, right? I became known for the person who was teaching agents the MLS. But it stems from this. Every time I had an agent in my office trying to do a search, it was like, open up the search, put less, so you can find it, but it shouldn't be that way. It should be one of those where, you know, input most of the information so that we can narrow down our searches.
If Miami board wants to find realtors, they can only just look at one criteria and one criteria only, and they will be millionaires by now. And it's basically what amazed me that the agents, listing agents, they don't know the difference between homeowners association and condo association. Oh God.
Yeah, and I will fault. I'm a huge advocate for the board, right? If you guys have looked at my page a lot, I put out there, you know, what the fines are, or I give you guys a lot of information about what the board is doing or what they need from you. I do believe that if the board would fine the agents more efficiently and not waive so many of the fines, and I'm guilty of that. Every time I had an agent in my office that needed a fine waived, I would contact the board and I would ask them to please, you know, let go of that fine. But I do believe that brokerages are not training their agents enough. One, when it comes to the MLS, and on basic vocabulary, you know what I mean? Because just like vocabulary, we all learn just a little bit more.
Well, I think not to find them, but like, let's say when they're getting to that point, because it's so important here in Broward and Dade that when there's an association and there's a townhouse, we have homeowners and condo. They should put like an explanation, Mr. Agent. Condo association is the code, blah, blah, blah. And it's so simple because a condo association on the foil has a letter. That's it. And when it's a homeowners, it doesn't have a number. A condo association has a number on the foil, and a homeowner association does not have a number. It's just I'm sorry, I'm confusing it. The letters, all letters are condo association, and all numbers are homeowners on the foil here in Broward. That's it. It's simple as that. So if the foil has a letter, that's a condo association. If it's all numbers, it's just so it's just anyways.
But that's in Broward, right?
That's in Broward, yeah. If the foil has a letter, it's a condo association. That's it.
So Miami-Dade does not have any letters.
Oh.
Yeah, let's not confuse my Miami-Dade guys here. All right, I want to go quickly. I know we've been on this for an hour, but I would love to show you guys hot sheets.
Andreina, I'm sorry. This is Lilian again. I just want to double check for me to input the correct number from now on for leases. You mentioned that the 365 is going to be the accurate name, the proper number for the ones that can be rented daily. So the proper number for the residential for 1 year leases is 12.
It would not be 12 because that means you can rent it out 12 times the year. It should be 1.
Yes, it should be 1. Okay, I'm doing right.
It means that
I'm doing
you can only rent it out 1 time per year.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
It's okay. There's another, that's number of times lease per year. There's another one that's also a criteria. Watch. Minimum days of lease. It's also a required field. Does that make sense? Minimum days of lease 365 would mean that if I was to buy this property, I can only rent it 1 time, right? Because that's the minimum amount of days that I can lease it for. Does that make sense? So it's on.
But then I don't think that's gonna work because most of the agents don't do that. So it's gonna be like a.
You'd be surprised. I have a group of investors that actually look up properties this way. And again, if the listing agent is not inputting the right information, then that would be on the listing agent not being able. If you cannot find their list, they're not going to be able to sell it efficiently anyway.
Right. So.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So I want to go straight into hot sheets before we log off, because for me, hot sheets is an essential part of your business, right? What are hot sheets? A hot sheet should be your farming area. This is, you're going to go to the Starbucks of the area that you farm, and you can start up a conversation with a stranger and say, yeah, I'm a realtor here. I farm this area. Is the plaza, and the plaza is renting for this amount, or it's selling for this amount. If you're able to answer that with knowledge, that stranger is going to look at you like you know what you're talking about, right? But if you go into a Starbucks and you say, yeah, I'm the specialist of this area, and then that random stranger tells you, well, what's going on with the plaza? And you say, well, give me your name, number, and your email, and as soon as I get back to my office or my desk, I'll send you the information. That person's going to look at you like you're not so much the specialist here, right? Because you were not able to let them know what's going on in that one area that you're farming. So your hot sheets is pretty much going to tell you what's going on in that area that you farm in the last whatever days you pick. So far, so good, right? Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, so if you guys are gonna do your hot sheets for the first time, I would go into here and I would entirely delete all of your default settings that the board has given you. Just delete them all. Do not be afraid to delete, because whatever they've inputted here is not your farming area, right? It is just default based on Miami-Dade County entirely. And then I would go ahead and click on add. Again, I'm a huge fan of cross property and give it a name. For the sake of this search, I'm gonna do 951 Brickell, which is the plaza. And I'm gonna click on save. Is Michelle in the chat? Is Michelle on here? I keep doing her building this morning.
She was.
She was. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click on done. No, I'm sorry. I would go back, instead of clicking done, I would go ahead and edit criteria. Because by me just giving it a name, it doesn't know where the plaza is located, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and click on absolutely everything that is on this side of the column. And I'm just gonna go ahead and click on the address. That's it. That's all I care about. Why? I want to be able to see everything that's new on the market, left the market, had a price, everything that's going on in this one building. And I'm gonna go ahead and click on save. Then I'm gonna click on done. So right here on my hot sheets, I want to see everything that's happened at the plaza in the last 7 days. And it's going to show me that this one came on the market, this one had a price decrease, and these two were rented. So when I am at Starbucks and I'm speaking to a stranger in my farming area and they ask me what's going on at the plaza, I can tell them that in the last 7 days, there was a new active listing. One had a price decrease and two became rented.
How do you know that the first one just came out?
How is it that one?
How do you see that the first one just came out of the market?
It doesn't have any other changes. You see how it's just active?
Yes.
Can you see a date when it's come to
I would
market?
insert a column and I would put date, and then I would do, where is it? Status change date.
Love it. That's great.
Okay, so this is a status change. So the price decrease doesn't change the status. Does that make sense? That's what you're saying this one has February.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
One question.
Yes.
Can you do that for more than 7 days?
Yes, you can. Now, I want to make sure that you guys understand that this is not showing me everything that's at the plaza. This is not showing me all the actives, the sale, nothing. It is only showing me what has occurred at the plaza in the last 7 days. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It is not a regular search. So with that also said, I want you guys to understand that this is not something that you guys should be doing unless unless the plaza or that building that you guys are doing doesn't have a lot of movement. I wouldn't do more than 7 days, right? So if you guys know me, I am not a realtor and I'm not licensed, right? I had always been management. So when I used to do my hot sheets, it was literally to stalk the agents inside of my office and see the movements that was going on with their listings. So when I would go into work on Monday, I would do the last 3 days. And then from Tuesday on to Friday, I would do everything that's happened in the last 24 hours so that I would know consistently what's going on, because my farming were my agents, right? So for you guys, I would say if you guys are farming this consistently and there's not a lot of movement in that building, I would do 7 days, right? But if you guys need more, of a span, I would do the custom. I would click on it, and then it will tell you from what day to what day you guys want to go ahead and run your hot sheets for. Make sense?
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Okay. Now look
you.
at what it says. This cannot be more than 30 days.
Yes.
Okay. Does that make sense? You guys, everybody knows how to do their hot sheets?
Yes, sure.
All right, now I will say that if you guys are familiar with my website, everything that we've just learned, all the breakdowns, everything, I've actually created 1 to 3 minute tutorials on my website of everything I've shown you guys. So if you guys want to go back and do your hot sheets, when I'm no longer here, you guys are able to see that tutorial. So far, so good. I think that for today.
Normally teach, or you just teach on the broker you work with?
Excuse me?
Where do you teach at the association, or you teach only on the brokers you work with?
I'm actually not a trainer for the association. I get those emails all the time when I'm going to be teaching, what days I'm teaching at the board. I'm actually not a trainer for the association. I do not work for the association at all. I am at 2 locations on a weekly basis. I'm either at Kendall on Tuesdays, or on Thursdays, I'm in the Doral area. And I have 2 masterminds, and then I do MLS Matrix and contracts once a month, which is usually at the end of the month. That's why I decided to do this one today. But it's usually either at the offices where I am working. Currently, I am at Aleph International Realty, and I am still also teaching at sales centers, and I do presentations and everything outside of the office as well.
Super, thank you.
You're welcome. And if you guys, I mean, I have 2 WhatsApp chats that have been very successful, and I also do answer a lot of questions through there. I think I'm very accessible to the agents on a very consistent basis. I answer every email, I answer every WhatsApp message. I am available on my phone. So I'm not somebody who will teach you this today and then, you know, tomorrow say, oh no, you know, wait next month. I'm actually very accessible to all of you. All right, hold on. There's a few chats on here. Can you send a link to the WhatsApp group you just mentioned, please? Yes. So I have one chat that I think it's full, but I will go ahead and send you guys that information. Now, for the sake of this training, we have run the full hour. I did want to teach you guys a little bit more today, but I like that I was able to answer everybody's question as you guys were coming in and asking them. So I think that I can plan out maybe another Zoom MLS training maybe for sometime next week, because I did want to teach you guys like your market reports and your market watch and all that good stuff. Does that sound good?
Yes, sure.
That will be great.
Yes.
All right, before we all leave,
Now we have a lot of time to do it, so
Andre, can you do it before?
we could do it every day. I don't know, like
what was that? I'm sorry.
that we could that we could do this every day.
Don't push it, my friend. Don't push it, my friend. I have kids in my house.
I was asking you if we can do this meeting maybe before a week.
Before the week. We actually can. I know I on Thursday I'm doing another mastermind, but I have a guest speaker for that. Maybe we can do something on Friday.
Yeah, just let us know what time.
I have seen that today is your birthday. Congratulations.
Tomorrow's my birthday, guys.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Everything I had planned was canceled.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do it at home.
Well,
you know, I'm spending more time than ever with my children. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, you can go to Hawaii for $149 round trip.
Oh my.
Oh my God. You know, I had a trip planned to New Orleans. I had to cancel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So in the chat of the Zoom, I just entered both of the group chats that we are in, that I monitored. They're both called the same thing. It's Let's Talk Real Estate. Only that one, I think it's full. It has 250 something people. And the other one we started about a week ago. So it has about a little bit over 100 people in that one.
So you have room there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Maybe we'll do the continuing, I guess, of this MLS class for Friday. But I will, once I have, you know, exact date and time, I will send it out through my email in the chats, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Andre.
Email? Will you do it by email?
Yeah, I'll send it to the email and to the chats.
Okay, perfect.
Andrea, how can I be in the chat? How can you add me?
All right, if you look at the chat portion of this Zoom, I entered both links in there.
Oh.
vacations chat too, please.
Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't. Hold on. Sorry about that. I sent it to somebody privately.
Not good.
Not good, right?
Thank you, Andreina. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Andreina. Thank you so much.
Andreina.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
nice week. Disfruta tu cumpleaños mañana. Empieza a celebrarlo desde hoy, te recomiendo.
Lo estamos celebrando 2 semanas ya.
Arranca hoy.
All right, guys, the group chats are on. Both links are on there.
Well, the problem is that I'm not on my phone. Okay, so.
All right, I'll send, if you guys received my emails, at the bottom of the email flyer, there's a thing that says something along the lines of like, join my WhatsApp chat, or click here to join a WhatsApp chat. So you guys can also view it there.
Okay, perfect. Better that way because I'm not on the phone. So.
Not a problem. The link is there.
Both links are the same.
They both have the same name. They're both.
It's the exact same link. When I click on it, it takes me to the same exact place.
All right, give me 1 second. Okay, so people are joining this one. Give me 1 second. Invite group. I need a minute, Sophia. That should be the other one. This one is almost full from what I can see. It only has 1 spot left. So the best bet is to go to the first one I had.
Do a raffle.
Do a raffle. First come, first served. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day, okay?
You too. Thank you so much again. Happy
Thank you
birthday.
so much.
Early birthday.
Bye.